All right, rolling. Rolling. Go for it.
I'm Carl.
And I'm Haley Schroeder.
We've lived in Alaska for 3 years and have gone to ACF for 3 years.
Growing up, I always believed I would adopt one day. God really placed a passion for that in me. And so when Carl and I started dating, and I told him that, he was 100% on board from the get-go. I gave birth to our first daughter in 2017, and then when we moved to Alaska in 2018, we started looking into how we could adopt.
And then we found out that Haley was pregnant unexpectedly. So in August of 2019, we got our very first call from Office of Children's Services. We stopped and we prayed over the phone, and we were reminded, God definitely reminded us why we were doing this. So yeah, that night I remember picking her up, and I drove home with a 14-month-old with big brown eyes, and I didn't know anything about her except her first name.
So from there we had 3 kids, and made the adjustment, and we fostered our daughter for 8 months before we were able to adopt her. So just about a year ago, we finalized the adoption. It was in the height of COVID, in the first few weeks of COVID. So instead of being at a courthouse, we were on a teleconference out in our yard, and had our family zoomed in on our iPads, and had a lot of friends who wanted to celebrate with us, and did a big parade past our house at the end of the proceedings, and she became a Schroeder. Being a mom to 3 kids, I often question my ability to do that. We made the commitment. We felt God calling us. We knew He would provide, but I still doubt that my abilities to do that. But as we wrestled with the timing of a newborn and foster care and our toddler, one thing that God brought to our attention in Ephesians 5, in the Message, it says, "Observe how Christ loved us. His love was not cautious, but extravagant. And He did not love to get something from us, but in order to give everything of Himself to us." And we definitely had a lot of excuses we could have made at that time, and that we were tempted to make at that time in our lives.
And did.
And we did. But we had a clear command to care for orphans, and we had Christ's example of extravagant love, and so we went for it. Through all my doubts, God has been so faithful to remind me that it is not my love that never fails. I fail, and I fail a lot, but His love never fails, and He loves my kids even more than I do. And so that is what sustains me, and that is the promise that I cling to. Some days I feel like I'm crushing it. Some days I feel like we got my 1, 2, and 3-year-old. We're doing great, and other times I don't know how we're gonna make it through the day, and we do, because God is faithful, and He's called us to this, and He is going to lead us through it. But we can just look back at how gracious God was to confirm again and again that this was His plan for us, and knowing that if we had said no, we wouldn't have been walking in his best for us. And so we definitely wouldn't trade that.
That's great. 1, 2, 3, cheers.